Hey everyone, welcome back to Manny's Game Room. Well, everything's going really well here. I've done a big cleanup and found some really cool stuff that I've decided to add to the game room to enhance the overall experience of anybody who comes and hangs out here. We've had a few cool gaming sessions over the few months with friends and family, and I'd like to share not only what I've added, but also some retro games that I've been playing lately. So stick around because I've got a whole heap of cool stuff to share. Let's do it. First up, I decided to hook up this PlayStation 2 to this monitor here, because that way I have a dedicated driving setup. So I've got my steering wheel here and my pedals down below. Mind my cable management for now. I'm still tidying that up. Anyway, Gran Turismo 3 is highly regarded still as one of the funnest racing simulators. And one of the cool things about it is you can set it up and it's got what you call arcade mode. So it will run not like the Gran Turismo game, which is available, but like an arcade simulator where you go through the menus with your wheel and you select with your pedal, and it's a proper arcade experience on your PlayStation 2. The graphics are still awesome and still hold up. So what I've done, because the TV speakers aren't great and these monitor speakers here, I've actually used on this Mac when I do music production, and this PC down here, I've hooked up these speakers down here, these monitor speakers. So when I was cleaning up, I found them and totally forgot I had them. And what it does is simulates when you're in a car, the engine noise is actually coming from below you a bit, and it's actually so cool. So I'll give you a bit of a demo. Guitar Hero is another game that benefits from these speakers. The tracks are really present and beefed up. Super cool to play. Back over here, I've also added this VHS DVD player, which is sick because I still have a lot of VHS movies. I love to watch things like old rugby league videos from the 80s and 90s, old grand finals. So when I'm producing my music, I just have it on in the background. I also have picked up this summer cart here, which is for the Nintendo 64, and it's a cartridge that has a flash drive in it, and it's also got a slot here. So it comes preloaded with a whole heap of Nintendo 64 games, and once it loads up, if it's missing a game that you want, there's no stress because you can use the flash cart and add on whatever 64 game you like. What I highly recommend is using a HDMI upscaler. Back to the retro cabinet. And what I love about my game room is I have a lot of physical copies of games, but what I also have on all our emulators and arcade machines is access to pretty much every game I ever loved as I was a kid. And it's also opened up my discovery to new games. One in particular, and I know you're gonna say, oh Manny, how did you miss this when you were young, is this one here, Musha, which is an absolute classic. It looks so cool. It has an awesome soundtrack. And the premise of the game is you're this mech and you're flying around, you're the last one left and you're the only hope. And your allies drop you these little pods which you have to shoot, and then they create side guns which you can use how you like in whatever formation. And then along the way you can also pick up power-ups, and if you pick up the same power-up consecutively, it becomes stronger and stronger. I've completed it on both levels, normal and hard, and it's so fun. It's not a really hard playthrough. It took me a few goes, but like I say, graphics are awesome, parallax scrolling, music is sick. So again, you've probably seen it, but for me, these are games I'm playing lately. So I still go back to my classic games. Of course I love these ones and I've played them hundreds of times, but just because of the retro community, I'm finding stuff that I love that's new. Well, new to me, right? And then another one you're gonna say, oh Manny, how is this Shinobi 3? So cool. I was never actually a Shinobi fan growing up, and I always knew about it. It was in the arcade. Friends had Shinobis, and I just thought it's one of those games, oh, there's 4 of them, or there's Alex Kidd and Shinobi. Well, how good can it be if they just keep, layering on top of things? But it's amazing. So you actually feel like a real ninja when you're going through the courses. So, you're jump kicking, you can do double jumps, you can use 3 or 4 different types of magic. And again, parallax scrolling, music's fantastic, big bosses. It looks like an arcade game in your home. So the whole play for Sega when they first came out was bring the arcade to your house sort of thing. And it really, really does. And even now, I've finished it, so I'm stoked that I've finished it. But yeah, it's one that I'm glad I checked out in the end, and it's one that I had to purchase. I had to have it physical. So a lot of these games which I own, I have to have physical. Every year for my birthday, I get my boys to go into a retro gaming store, and a few years ago they picked this one up for me, and I thought it was so cute that they picked a Disney game, and it's actually so fun and so cool. I won't talk too much about it. It's simple, it's fun, it's got cute music. They can play it with me. But it's actually a low-key, decent game. This year though, they picked out this one for me. And I used to play this at my cousin's house a lot. And it's a cool game because, you put on different helmets, and the different helmets give you different powers. You start off with, I think the first helmet is the Knight, where you can jump, and then you get the Rhino helmet. The only problem with the game is it's so long. I think there's like 130 levels or 135 levels, something like that. I haven't got that far. And there's no password system and there's no save system. So if you're playing that on a cartridge, you have to do it in a playthrough. And I don't think it's something that you're going to be able to sit there and play forever, because they don't give you the helmets quick enough. And some of the cooler ones you don't see until later in the game. So you need to emulate it and use save states. Still, I'm so thrilled they picked that one for me, because that one gives me a good nostalgia hit. Something I'm a real sucker for is retro basketball games. And this one is super cool. Mainly because the rosters, because I loved 90s NBA. To me, it's my favorite era of basketball. You had Michael Jordan, all those stars from the Dream Team, Dream Team 2, of course the Orlando Magic, my favorite team, Shaq and Penny. And it's simple, the controls are stiff. Most people will play it and go, this is terrible. But to me, I just love, again, that era where people would be driving the lane and dunking. They'd shoot threes, but not for, the amount that they do now. And the dunks are really cool. It's got this cute little replay thing you can do. It's not NBA. I love NBA Live 95. It's probably my favorite retro basketball game. Again, it's one I picked up early when I was a kid. It's sort of a step up from that game, Bulls vs. Blazers. So Bulls vs. Blazers came out. NBA Showdown refined what Bulls vs. Blazers was doing. And then NBA Live Series took it from there. And then of course, NBA 2K took over. So that's the progression of things. Of course, I love my NES. It was my first proper console. I had an Atari. Actually, Atari is my first proper console. But then we moved on to NES. And this game here, Double Dragon 2, to me at the time was the quintessential beat 'em up, because it had everything you wanted. You could punch, kick, back kick. You could flip players, you could throw weapons. It had big bosses, it had lots of stages, and we just used to play it over and over. And of course, being co-op was so awesome, because my brother and I used to just play it all the time. And just a variety of different stages, it just never got boring. And that's why we could play it over and over and over again, until we got to the final stages where you had to do the jumping, and that's where we used to stop playing because we just couldn't pass it. But over this break, I had a go, and I sort of realized that if you jump as the as the platforms are flashing, then you've got it. And then I worked out the other jumping mechs and finished the game. So super satisfying to finish that one. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan, but my friends from work got me into a game called, it's not a computer game or a console game, it's called Hero Quest. And it's like an RPG. So it's a board game and it's so fun. And it's something I never would have played when I was younger. We do these quests, it's awesome. And because of their love of the Lord of the Rings, I saw this in the shop, thought I'd pick it up so we could all give it a go. And it's really cool. You can play 9 different characters and you walk around, you beat people up. You know, you go on these quests. Super cool. Not something I play all the time, but I like that it's in my collection. I am the biggest Survivor fan. Well, not massive, but I love the show. I even go back and watch old seasons. And when I saw this in a store for, I think it was like $5, I had to pick it up because I thought, oh, how cool. You'll get to go on these reward challenges and vote people out and make alliances. Unfortunately, being Wii, it probably wasn't the console that was ready to release something like this. And now with that show just getting flogged, I think it's up to season 50 in America there. It's just had its day, I think. So I don't see any other one else releasing at the time. I just really wanted to do the quests and ally and find allies and vote people out. But anyways, it lives in the Wii. I'll give it another go because I really love Survivor. Finally, I cleaned out a big storage cupboard and I've made a section for all our joysticks here. So we've got a Nintendo section, we've got a Dreamcast and PlayStation section, Xbox, and that looks like a Sega section. My boys aren't into their toys as much as they used to. Now they're playing sports, so I was able to put their sports equipment there and all our old gaming boxes and stuff. So it's either full of old games, old game boxes, or Thomas the Tank Engine stuff, which I can't bring myself to throw away. Well, that's it for today's update. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it keeps me going. And also, have a look in the comments below, Dreaming Melodies. We're up to almost 4 million streams worldwide. We write sleeping music for kids, relaxation music for adults, all different stuff. Disney, video games, pop, classical. Check it out, might help you sleep. Anyways, have a good rest of your April, and I'll see you next time. Bye.